Everyone, it's Sharona from Pay Your Weight, and today I'm going to be reviewing Insecure Season 4, Episode 2, Low-Key Distant. And you know what? It was a lot of low-key distance in some of these friendships and relationships in this episode. But before I can get into that, is it me or does it feel like I'm not getting a full 30-minute episode? Like, not just 30 minutes, including the credits, including the previews for next week, and the wind down. Like, it be feeling like I'm getting like a strong 25-minute episode. I feel like they need to run me 5 more minutes because these episodes, they just end so quickly. Maybe it's because the content is just so good. I don't know, but I feel like I start and then it's over and I don't know what else to do. So going into this week's episode, it's a lot that we need to talk about. But first and foremost, I want to talk about Lawrence, okay? Because Lawrence is messy. Lawrence still trash, always gonna be trash. So Condola and Issa, you know, they're working on the Black Party project together, and, you know, things have still kind of been weird between them, but they found a common ground. They kind of used, like, a joke about Lawrence in order for them to kind of, like, just start off on the right path going forward for their Black Party. And so while Condola and Lawrence is having lunch, he asked for mayo. And so this is one of the things that Issa brought up about Lawrence, and they started laughing because they both think that it's weird that he eats his french fries with mayo. I think it's weird too. I have friends that actually eat their french fries with mayo, and I do low-key judge them. I'm not even gonna lie. If you guys are watching this, I'm judging you. It's okay. But so when he asks for the mayo when they're out at lunch, she starts laughing, and so then she kind of brings up that they were literally just having a conversation about this, her and Issa, and then he kind of changed and he got a little weird, and then she was like, wow, I made this weird. And I was like, well, yeah, you did, but I mean, she kind of was just bringing it up, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's something Condola should have said or she shouldn't have said. I'm not sure. I think that it was okay for her to bring it up, especially since Lawrence said it was okay that they're working together. And he knows they're together all the time. I don't know why he would assume that they wouldn't have any conversations about Lawrence. I just think that that's absolutely ridiculous to think that they just strictly only talk about work. However, we see that this really bothers Lawrence, so he ends up hanging out with his friends. I was like, I miss his friends because we haven't seen them all season. And so when he basically said he gonna start a podcast about his peen, I was like, you know what? I miss you so much. I love how they make the jokes about him being beefed up, that he's real muscular, because you know he's like on that Navy SEAL show. So I'm assuming they're like acknowledging that without acknowledging the fact that he's on another show that he buffed up for. But Lawrence gets annoyed that they're talking about him, and so he asks them, like, should I say something to Condola? Should I be like, hey, keep my name out of your mouth? Or should I tell Issa to keep my name out of your mouth? And they were like, no, like, you can't say that to Condola because you said it was already okay that they were working together. Then it's going to make things super weird. Then if you reach out to Issa, it's just random as heck because you guys do not communicate with one another. And then it's just weird for you reaching out to her being like, hey, keep my name out your mouth. Like, sir, what are you mad about? What are you upset about? Like, you just have to accept that you're in this awkward situation, and hopefully once the Black Party is over, maybe they won't have a reason to be around each other as much. I don't know. But what is Lauren Raggedy behind you? Lawrence really had the audacity to show up to Issa's house to basically have a conversation with her saying that it's not okay to that it's not okay for her to be talking about him or telling his business to Condola, which on one hand, I do understand, because when he says, I want her to learn about me through me, yes, but some very interesting information came out that his parents named him Martin Lawrence. I'm done. Literally, his first name is Martin. It's not Lawrence. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I cackle. I was just like Black people, because literally my mama got my name for watching a baseball fan on TV. I just like the stuff that we do. I just don't understand sometimes. But I think that Lawrence is trash because later in the episode, Issa says, like, he calls him a courtesy call, which she didn't have to do. And Issa's better than me because I probably would have checked him like, hey, don't come talk to me about something that's happening with your new boo. Like, I just don't feel comfortable about it. And like, what does it matter what me and her talk about? Now, if I was Issa, I probably just wouldn't bring his name up anymore with Condola if she's going back to kind of pillow talk about everything. But I just felt like Lawrence was very out of line for even going out of his way to go to her house to bother her to talk about this nonsense. Like, it just made no sense to me. Like, why are you so bothered about something that really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, as long as she's not telling nothing crazy? She literally just talked about you eating mayo with french fries. I don't get it. So, but what really makes him trash is later in the episode, she gives him a courtesy call to be like, hey, I'm about to hang out with Condola. Like, does she know that we hung out? Which I think is right for her to ask that, because it's just like, I don't want to get caught up in no mess. Because at this point, Lawrence, you had put Issa in the middle of your relationship for absolutely no reason. And so he was like, nah, she doesn't know, and you ain't got to say nothing. She ain't got to say nothing. So now you lying to Condola? You just showed up to this woman's house and like you literally didn't tell Condola about it? Like I feel like this is gonna come to bite him in the butt. But I was just like, sir, that is not okay that you're already lying to Condola about something that really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, because it's not like Issa wants you or you want Issa. So I just don't understand why you felt that it was appropriate for you to lie about the situation or put Issa in a bad situation, because I feel like it's gonna bite her in the butt. I ain't lying for you. If you came to my house, I would have been like, hey, Lawrence came to my house and, you know, I just don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to get in between you guys' relationship. Like, I don't know. I felt like I would have been annoyed for him showing up at my house in the first place. Like, I would have been super annoyed, and I would have just been like, you're trash. And I'm just like, you know, I'm going to say something to Condola, because I don't want neither one of y'all saying my name at all. How about that? And we'll just keep this business with Condola since you pillow talking. Since you pillow talking to your man about what we be talking about. I just want to talk to either one of y'all about, we just gonna talk business. Me and Condola talk business. You stay your behind and enjoy your new relationship. Don't come here and talk to me about any of this mess, because it's childish. We too grown for this. That would have been my whole take on the whole thing. So I'm gonna say Molly for last, because Molly just always has all the issues in the episode. The beginning of the episode is kind of how things got kicked off, because they were talking, they were kind of finalizing some stuff for the block party, which is coming along very good. And she talks to Condola. She asks her, like, did she want to do something like the next weekend? But she said she's going out of town. She's like, oh, you going on a work trip? And she's like, no. And then it like dawns on Issa that it's a boo-bay romance, whatever you want to call it, trip with Lawrence. And so she's like, oh, my bad. And then that's kind of how she gets into the whole joke thing. But I absolutely love their costumes. I didn't know what Issa's costume was. Was she Grace Jones? I don't know, but I thought everyone else looked nice in their little costumes. And y'all was hella disrespectful for making Tiffany have to learn how to get up on her own, but I felt it, because I was just like, what if you guys aren't there? Like, she's not gonna have someone to help her get up every single time. So sometimes you gotta let people learn the hard way, and it just makes them stronger in the long run. But we see that Issa and actually, I'm going to say that. I'll save it for Molly. I'll say the other half of the conversation, what happens at the little Halloween get-together, I'll say that for Molly's discussion. But we see the security dude is hitting it. He getting it again and stuff. She upside down on the bed doing something. I was just like, okay, girl. Like, I didn't know if she was faking the orgasm or she really did have an orgasm. I was just really confused. But then when he said, hit my booty button, I said, your booty button? Ugh, like, you not going to put nothing over your finger? You just gonna stick your finger up there? That's nasty. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Call me Prue, whatever you need to, but I just can't. Well, I can't do it anyway with these nails. So wouldn't nobody be asking me to do this stuff in the first place. I can get you a little plug or something, but me sticking my finger, boo-boo. That just wouldn't happen. And so then he comes, and then basically he ends up losing the condom. Condom's inside of her, and then I was just like, Lord, you just can't ever have just a normal experience with this dude. Like, I just think that you need to let it go. But we see that she ends up letting it burn towards the end of the episode. But I'm going to let that, we're going to wait. However, we see that Issa and Molly, you know, they basically end up having a lunch, and they want to catch up because she's trying to tell her, like, what's happening between her and Andrew. However, Condola is still there. Her and Issa are finishing up a meeting. And so Issa asks her to stay for dinner. Molly's looking like, what? Like, why is she here? And I'm not gonna lie, if I was Molly, I would be asking the same thing. Why is she here? This is my time, me or your time. I'm not sharing my time with anybody else. I just can't do it. I won't do it. I won't stand for it. I deserve more. I know my worth. And then it got weird because she was like, well, do you want me to ask her to leave? And then she was like, well, no, she's already here. And so Molly's just feeling a certain type of way. I can tell she's jealous. And you know what? I'm a jealous friend too. I don't want to share my friends. I feel like people, you have your time for them, unless it's just like a group gathering or you wanted a girls thing or we're celebrating a holiday or we're here to make you feel better. I'm not sharing my time with nobody else. Sorry. Not gonna do it. No, not doing it. So I kind of felt Molly. I did feel Molly in this instance because if that's Molly's first time meeting Condola and all that she know her is like, she gets it, that's your business partner, but it's also Lawrence's current girlfriend. So it's already weird for her. So I can see how Molly will feel uncomfortable in that situation. So I'm not even gonna shade Molly for her reaction on how she acted at the whole like little dinner situation in the first place. She wanted to talk to her about something that happened with Andrew, but then she was like, well, can we just talk about it on our like Sunday self-care? And I love that they have like a self-care, like just take care of yourself. I try to tell all my friends, like, guys, like, take care of yourself. Go book a massage. Go sit in a movie by yourself, okay? Just get some sleep in. Do what you want to do to take care of yourself. We don't take care of ourselves enough. We're always taking care of other people. That's just a little side note. After this, like, COVID situation, or Coco as my friend likes to call Corona now, just make sure that you take time for yourself going forward, because your self-care is just as important as taking care of others. So we see that when they go hiking, she ends up kind of telling her what happened, and then Issa asks her, she was like, do you like finding problems with people? Like, do you want to be happy? Which is something that all of us has literally been saying like for the past 3 seasons, now 4 seasons with Molly. It's not that Molly doesn't have a point at times. It's just because she overanalyzes everything so much, and because she is quick to jump in and out of something at the same time, it's hard to really know how to counsel Molly. It's hard to really try to gauge a situation to know, like, well, does this person really have an issue, or is this Molly just doing the absolute most and trying to self-sabotage a relationship again? So even though I feel as though in this situation, Molly was halfway right, it was 50-50 between Molly and Andrew as to who was right and wrong in the situation, that I think that Issa's reaction was very valid and kind of how all of us would have reacted to it. Because Molly, like, you're never satisfied. You're never happy. Like, you're never happy, ever. The Lord can put, like, the ideal man in front of you and you will find something wrong with him. And you have to just understand that perfection is it's not realistic. You're not perfect. The person that you're going to end up with is not perfect. So I think it was very valid, the reaction that Issa gave her, but you can clearly tell that this turned Molly off. It stung her. You know, sometimes your friends tell you the truth, it sting you a little bit. Like, you kind of like, ooh, like you just knocked the wind out of me. Like, what the heck is this? Like, whose side are you on? But I think that it was something that Issa actually needed to say. And so going into Molly and Andrew, we see that at the beginning of the episode that they're on a date. And Andrew gets a phone call, and obviously it's something that makes him upset. He says it's about work. She tries to kind of inquire, like, are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? He was like, no, like, I'm just trying to smash you. And then he was breaking that back in. I said, Andrew, break her back in. Break her back in, okay? Make her ask for that cake. Give him that cake, Molly. He was doing it. I said, you know what? That is a good stroke game. Then you had that little slap. Then they took that into the intro. I was like, that's talent right there. That is why I watch Insecure, for those moments. But we see that throughout the course of the episode, he's seeming very distant with her. So not only do we have the distance going on between Issa and Molly's relationship, but Andrew seems very distant from Molly. Molly is opening up to him, which she wasn't doing before. She's really trying to share her feelings, talk about her past. But however, when she tries to reciprocate and ask him questions, he's very closed off, really doesn't want to open up, doesn't want to let her in. And this starts to make her feel like, well, do I need to like chill out? Do we need to stop having sex so much? Because it seems like you'd rather have sex than actually talk. Her friends are like, you're stupid. Like, if you're getting some, why stop getting some? Just make sure you have the conversation on top of you getting some. But when Kelly said that he had a samurai dick, I was like, Kelly, that low-key racist. But then I was like, she had me wondering for a moment. But we see that, so they're kind of like, and it's weird because this goes back to Molly really not being able to, she can't even get good relationship advice from her friends, because on one hand, Molly is right. Like, he should be able to open up to her. But Molly, if you guys haven't really defined if you haven't defined your relationship, why do you feel that there's certain things that he should be doing? Also, too, you have to take into account that you gave him absolute grief at the beginning of the relationship, the first time when he was really trying to take things like like seriously with you. So I feel as though that you have to also understand that you kind of fumbled the play at the beginning of the relationship. So if he's acting different or if he seems like he's being distant, I feel like you have to accept where you guys are in the relationship at that point in time, because you was playing games at the beginning with Andrew. So you should be happy that he's even giving you good and consistent dick, okay, on a consistent basis, giving you his everything, his energy, his all. You should be happy and grateful just for that. But when she actually brings it up, because they're getting into this conversation and he starts talking about his siblings and how they don't know where his sister lives, and then she decides to be honest with him, which I appreciate her being able to effectively communicate her feelings, but she needs to work on her delivery on how she communicates those feelings. And he was like, you just can't ever be happy. You always got to find a problem. And I was like, dang, Molly, like you was right. But it's how you went about saying it to him. And because you have a history of always having an issue or always finding fault in something that someone is doing, that's why he couldn't even really, he really couldn't even accept what you were saying to him, which was like constructive, like feedback to him. Like, hey, I'm trying to open up to you and I'm trying to take this like serious. However, because you do this, I was just like, Molly just don't know how to talk to people. She doesn't know how to talk to people. She doesn't know how to talk to people. She doesn't know how to effectively like communicate in a respectful tone and manner. But I thought it was cute that she was cooking for him, even though he said the stuff was salty and she was like, we just gonna die. I felt that. I was like, I've been sitting here slaving on the hot stove and this my third batch. Boy, you gonna eat all this salt. You better put some water up in that, because that's what we eating for dinner. Like, it's too salty. Did you want to come over here and cook? Like, I'm just saying, since you got so many critiques going on with this. But we see towards the end of the episode when Issa and Molly are on their walk, she gets a phone call from Andrew and he apologizes and he tells her it is hard for him to open up, but he's definitely going to try. And I thought it was cute that she said that she's open to waiting for him to like kind of get comfortable. But when Issa asks her who was on the phone, she lies, which lets you know, you kind of see the descent of their friendship. The down is going downhill from here, their friendship. And it seems that Issa is really oblivious to how Molly is feeling at this point in time. Issa doesn't think that there's like anything wrong with their friendship, but clearly there's an issue on Molly's end, and the fact that she ends up lying to her in the first place. And did you peep that when she was telling the story about Andrew to Issa when they were all together, Kelly was like, I already heard this story. So like, you told them a whole story before you tell Issa. Issa wasn't even tripping. And then we see at the end of the episode that Issa has to give up TSA babe because his sperm is too potent. He got 2 kids and another kid on the way, and the girth wasn't worth it. Cause you know, sometimes on big dudes, they got that girth going to it. It's Sunday, y'all. I ain't even gonna get into that, but girth matters. Girth matters. Stroke matters. Girth matters. True story. Believe it. Them big boys, they got some girth now. So, I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I can't wait for this whole mess with Lawrence to blow up, because he's nothing but trash. Ain't gonna never be trash, and ain't gonna never be nothing but childish. And I can't wait to see what happens with Molly and Issa's relationship. And I also love how we kind of come back to her work. Because we see the guy, Torrance or whatever, when they're in a meeting and she kind of disagreed with something that was happening, and she kind of like made a face and even her boss saw it. But I like that he checks her, because he was just like, she apologized for what she did last season, how she handled the previous case that they were working on together. However, he was just like, okay, whatever. But like, we still have a job to do. So if I'm doing something wrong, like, don't have me waste my time. Tell me what I need to do so we can get it done. Like, all this, you asked me about my trip, I don't care about that. But I'm here to get work done and to get work done faster. I'm not trying to work harder. I'm trying to work smarter. So I'm glad that he checked her, and I just want her to learn how to communicate with others. You would think she was the only child by how she just can't effectively communicate with people or share her feelings. But I don't know what's up with Molly. Maybe there's some traumatic past that we haven't heard about yet, but I really want Molly to get her life together. And I hope that she doesn't mess things up with Asian Bae. I think Andrew is absolutely amazing. I adore him. Like, I just need one of him to just pop up here in Atlanta and just come find me. But I'm just saying. But those are pretty much my thoughts on the episode. I hope they find Latanya, whatever this girl's name is. But I am very excited to see where the rest of the season is going to go. If you guys want to run me an extra 5 minutes that I probably lost from this week's episode added to next week's episode, I will be satisfied, you guys. But those are my thoughts on Insecure Season 4, Episode 2, Low Key Distant. As always, my name is Sharonda from Para Waits. And if you like what you saw today, Make sure you hit the subscribe. Watch this video, share it with your friends, hit the thumbs up button on it. Just thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon. And always, I love you guys 3000. Bye.